right? If you have not already, please go back and read the Brainology handout, as it were. So please go back and read that, and also take notes, and take notes of our lecture right here. And then I would love you to take handwritten notes. The eye-hand coordination is really, really, really important for retention. So let us get started. All right, Brainology is my favorite thing. I love it, absolutely. I highly suggest that this, of all the things you learn in class, this is the thing. And then you take it with you, because it changes everything that you do once you change that mindset. So in Brainology, we have the two mindsets. We have a fixed mindset and we have a growth mindset. And the fixed mindset says, if I can't do it, I'll never get to do it. But the growth mindset says, well, I can't do it now, but I might be able to if I put enough work into it. Obviously, two very different mindsets. The important thing is to recognize that if you're struggling with something, if something is not easy for you, that's okay. That's great. That's wonderful. That's you developing experience. And we're going to see at the bottom of the lecture here how experience plays into composition. So if you find you're struggling with maybe emotions or people or school or experiences, like anything that you might be struggling with, that's okay. It just means maybe you don't have the experience in it yet. Maybe you haven't developed all the tools you need to get through it. Maybe you just need more practice. Maybe you just need a different way of looking at it. Just because you're not good at something right off the bat does not mean you're not good at it. It just means you haven't experienced it more often. I know a lot of times when we work on the narrative assignment, students will be like, I'm not creative. I'm like, you are. You just haven't given yourself enough opportunity to try creative things, because creativity is not one set thing. It is, who knows what it looks like. That's what the part of creativity is just trying something new and seeing what happens. And that's our goal here in class, is to try and figure some things out for ourselves and see what happens. And so with Brainology, my hope is that you recognize that you're not going to know things right away. You are not going to know what I'm teaching in this class. If you already knew everything I'm teaching in class, then why are you taking this class? You're like, you already know it. Maybe it might come easier to you because you've had certain experiences that make the class easier for you. But if you are struggling with some of the concepts, don't panic. It just means it's something you've not experienced before, and that's totally okay. Failing is a first attempt in learning, okay? A first attempt in learning. That is fail. But failure isn't failure as we have in society put out there, right? It just means we're experiencing stuff. Like when we think about Einstein, obviously Broseph had to go through a few things. Like they say that, this, I don't know how real this is, but he was a dunce in the corner in the math class. But, he solved things in humanity that were like, wow, would never thought to think that. So please be open to understanding that if you're struggling in the class, it's not a you thing. It's something you just haven't experienced yet. Okay, so you just got to have the willingness. That being the case, oftentimes this growth mindset or this fixed mindset comes from maybe kind of how we're raised or who was around us to help encourage that particular mindset. So fixed mindset often comes from when someone says, oh, you're so smart, or oh, that came so easy to you, or just things that, as you see, are encouraging a fixed mindset. Because later, if something is hard for you, you go, oh, I'm terrible, and you become, catastrophic in your, belief system and who you are as a person. And it happens all the time. I think this is why we often, you might hear people who complain about when there are participation trophies. And the reason why people complain about the participation trophies is that what happens is people often will think, oh, well, I participated, I should get the trophy. I did the thing, I should get this. Not, I did the thing, oh, I didn't get the trophy this time, but I could next time, right? The growth mindset is the willingness to accept the fact that you didn't get the trophy yet. You didn't get it that first time, but that's okay. Maybe you got to work a little harder. There's always someone better than us, right? Just got to work a little bit harder. Maybe we can get closer. And so this is why oftentimes people feel that trophies that are given just for participation encourage a fixed mindset, because it doesn't encourage the willingness to fail. It's okay to fail. It's okay to not be great at something. right off the bat, it's very rare to have beginner's luck. It's very rare to be excellent at anything. I follow the Tour de France, and I'm telling you, these people did not come flying out of the womb on a bike and made it up the hills. Like, it is a lot of work. It's just not easy to do. So you could say that with any sport, anything. It's rare somebody is born with that perfect, maybe biologically there's something that's better. But I mean, yeah, don't just trust yourself when we think about fixed and growth mindset. And so, that being the case, go back into the reading because it's going to be a question on the quiz about what type of statements encourage a fixed mindset. Okay, so go back in that, make a note right now. You got to go back to that. Now think about or read what we were talking about in a growth mindset. If I were to tell you, hey, you did a lot of hard work, great job on achieving blah blah, that's a lot different than saying, you're so smart, right? Being smart means that you were just born with this thing. You were just born to be smart versus the hard work it took for you to be successful. When you support a growth mindset, you are giving the lines, wow, you worked very hard to come to this achievement. That's encouraging a growth mindset. Or, hey, look, I see that you didn't get exactly what you wanted, but I want you to also recognize that I see the work that you've done. Like, oftentimes you might see that kind of feedback from me. Yes, I get it. Maybe you didn't get the A that you wanted, but I want you to know I saw the work you did. I saw where you were going. That's important, right? Like, we can encourage that growth mindset. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to fail in any of your endeavors from here on out, whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a, friendship or, school or a job, whatever the freaking sports, video games, reading, I don't know, all the things, music. And I say this because these are things I'm going to be pushing as we move forward, especially in parts of the class that might not be easy for you. Okay. So that being the case, you're going to notice in the lecture notes, I have two different spots of different types of mindsets. I really want you to take a look at those. So first you'll notice it'll show you the fixed and then it's going to show you the growth mindset. And there's also two, I don't know, memes. I don't know what you would call them, pictures? Infographics. So we have a fixed mindset. I'm finding this task is hard because I'm stupid or I'm not naturally good at this sort of thing. That I guarantee, sorry, that was not a mocking. That's me talking on my behalf. I'm stupid. I'm not good at this, right? Those are the things I would say to myself. Don't put that in the universe. Don't do that. Trust yourself. Have a growth mindset. Hey, look, this is hard because I'm still developing these problem solving skills. Like, critical thinking is hard. By the way, we do a lot of critical thinking. Critical thinking is not intuitive. It doesn't come naturally. Okay, so keep that in mind. Also, things like, I'm not a composition person, but I'd like to be. It's just not one of my strengths. Well, that's a fixed mindset. A growth mindset is, I'm not a composition person yet. Okay, I just need to keep working at it. So my intention in suggesting English 1000E wasn't to discourage you from taking the class as much as recognizing where you might need more support. That's a growth mindset. A growth mindset isn't just like, I don't know, if I fail, I fail. It's a, you know what, I'm going to do the next right thing that I need in order to be successful. And that might mean extra support, right? Totally. Or when this is a fixed mindset. When I struggle with something, it means I'm a failure. No. It's the absolute opposite. You just haven't experienced it yet. A growth mindset is when I'm struggling with something, it means I'm learning. If you are struggling, you're learning, and that's exactly what you want. You want to learn. You want to keep pushing yourself to that edge of like, oh, I'm not there yet. I'm not there. I did it, right? And there is something to be said about satisfaction. Satisfaction is not that dopamine fix you get from pushing a button and getting the good grade or getting the points, right? Satisfaction comes from literally putting in that hard work, multiple failures, and then becoming successful, okay? Now, a fixed mindset would be like, I didn't do great, but I tried my best. What's the point of trying again if I don't get it perfect, right? What's the point? I tried my best. That's okay. Yeah, you tried your best, but your best every day changes. In this class, your best today is not going to be your best tomorrow. Maybe your best tomorrow is better than today, maybe not, but then it keeps growing and it keeps moving. You know, life happens, man. Life is happening. Life is lifey. And so knowing that, but trusting the process, it's okay. trusting that it's okay if you fail, you got tomorrow. Hell, you got an hour from now, right? We don't know. You can do it again. The growth mindset on, giving up, the growth mindset version is, I didn't do great, and I don't have to do it perfect. You don't have to do it perfect. This is why I scream, don't do AI. I don't care about that. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be you. I want you. I want you as a new recruit. Nobody, okay, anyway. That's an old Muppets movie boat thing. Anyway, it's the Navy. All right, and so with a growth mindset, another way of thinking is, I just need to grow my understanding step by step. And you're also going to notice I put one bite at a time, because that's what we do. I give you one bite at a time. We're not there yet. You might think you're there. Don't do that. We're right here. We've got these little tiny pieces. We're just trying to take it one bite at a time till we get where we need to go. You gotta trust the process. I say that all the time. Trust the process. Give specifics. Trust the process. All right. So go ahead and take a look at the other growth mindset, where often people will approach a conversation, right? Let me see. I'm trying to read my work here. I'm sorry. Self-talk is what I meant to say there, right? Conversations with yourself. If you're a good person, you must be competent. Okay, that's a fixed mindset. That's not fair. A growth mindset is we're all on a journey, and competence is always aspirational. Okay, competence is over here. We're always trying to become more and more competent at something. Okay, so you're not always going to be competent at something right off the bat. It takes time. It takes energy. You got to follow that. Okay. A fixed mindset might say, I don't feel safe. If we talk about things, it might get worse. The problem with that is then things don't get said, and then you get stuck in this mindset. And the reason why I bring that up is we're going to have some hard topic conversations. And if you're like, oh, I don't, this is not what this is not what I believe, I don't feel safe. We can't talk about these things. You have to be like, okay, trust this process. The growth mindset is, okay, look, I am uncomfortable. That means I'm learning something. That means I'm going outside of what my comfort zone is and just learning something new. And not talking about it will not lead to growth, right? And I know sometimes growth is scary, and the idea of learning something new because it's opposing maybe your original mindset on something. Trust the process. The goal in class is to learn about the world. Like, that's what composition is, sharing your experiences with others. And in order to share experiences, we have to also hear other people's experiences, and maybe other people's values, or other people's whatever's. We got to be okay with it, even if, again, it's not where I'm like, I feel uncomfortable. That's okay. Uncomfortable is a part of growth. The fixed mindset would be, we had a conversation once and it was a disastrous. Like, I talked about this topic, this subject once with someone, and it blew up in my face, and they yelled at me because I got it wrong. I tried to build relationships with, people of this particular group, and they weren't interested in connecting, and all these people are this way. That's a hasty generalization. That's a fallacy. It's a fallacious way of thinking. One assuming the whole. Just because this person or this group of people you talk to had a reaction to something is not the way that all people's will. And then you have to be like, that was a one-time thing maybe, and now we got to go, all right, it happened. And instead of just sitting on that and making that always going to be the case, growth mindset here says, look, mistakes in this work are inevitable. As we are leaning into conversations of this topic, you know what? Like, sometimes there's a mistake on maybe their end, our end, whatever, they happen. But I learned a lot in that setback. Maybe I got too emotional in my response, whatever the case may be. It's important that we're mindful about how we're open to the things we have conversations about. And then lastly, again, that fixed mindset is these folks are stuck in, inaction. They're worried they might give themselves away as incompetent. Much energy is spent intellectualizing deflection and defending actions or a viewpoint. Like, they're just stuck, and so whatever. I'm not even going to bother. That's a fixed mindset. Well, a growth mindset is that these folks are always becoming more and more competent. While you might originally, in a fixed mindset, assume people aren't growing, a growth mindset is looking and going, oh, while it feels like they're kind of set in their ways, it looks like they might become more competent in, the situation. And, the relationships, I'm seeing that they're becoming more authentic, more comfortable. They're more resilient through rough patches, and they're eager to learn more. That's the different types of personalities that you will see. A fixed mindset is stuck, not willing to move. A growth mindset is like, look, I'm just going to keep trying, even if I make mistakes and fail. and that's our ultimate goal, right? Is to try and be more open to the world around us. So, all right. Lastly, really quick on composition, you're going to see a formula at the very bottom of the reading. Composition equals literacy and identity. And you're like, what? All right, so when we're trying to understand what's composition, what is all that? What entails composition? Well, composition is literacy. We're going to talk about literacy. And then our identity. Like, we have to be, what's literacy? What does literate mean? And what is identity? Well, we're going to be working on identity in this unit. And this unit is going to include experience as well, okay? So when we think of literacy, we're going to break that apart. Literacy is actually critical thinking and experience. Remember, we're talking about right now the experiences that we have in life help us have literacy. Like, you might not know how to handle people, places, or things. You might not know how to do that. And that's just because you don't have your experience yet. And that's okay. You just need more time. Now, critical thinking, again, critical thinking is a part of experience as well. Critical thinking is recognizing that you're open to understanding how things might work. That's looking at all the different pieces, and we'll talk more about critical thinking later in that particular unit. For now, we're just looking at our identity and our experiences. So identity is a part of composition, and experience is a part of literacy. And that's why when we talk about the narrative, we're going to try and understand what is literacy. So hopefully that makes sense to you. I don't know. This is how my brain works. Maybe it helps you out. But I'm trying to put all these pieces together to help you understand how we can become better composers. And with that, we need a fixed mindset. And with a fixed mindset, or I'm sorry, so take that back. We don't want a fixed mindset. I don't know why I did that. For success as composers, you need to have a growth mindset. I don't know if I can edit that out, but I'm going to reiterate this so it sticks in your brain. For being a good composer, we need to have a growth mindset. Okay. Sorry. All right. And in order to have a growth mindset, you just need, recognize that you just need more experience here and there, okay? And again, with experience comes, literacy. And literacy means to be literate into something, not just in reading, but in doing, whether it's interacting with people, whether it's, doing something with our hands or with our minds, right? Which is critical thinking as well. So anyway, just want you to be mindful of the fact that we need all these parts to be good composers, and I'm going to try and give you ways in which you can utilize all these parts and understand who you are to become a good composer, okay? All right, so we are working on identity and experience this unit. So I know I keep repeating that. I was just checking my notes to make sure I covered everything. All right, so after this, there is going to be a quiz. We're also going to have a reading response. And in that reading response, please respond to 3 of your peers. In the play pause it, some of the questions are actually pulled from the reading too. Some of them are pulled from the lecture notes, and some of them are pulled from the lecture. All right, so hopefully that you have been taking you've been writing notes, because if you're writing your notes, it'll make it so much easier when you go to take these quizzes, so you're not flipping back and forth all the time. So trying to give you all the tools to make you a great composer. All right, good luck, have fun, and I will see you on the other end.